belief system is that understand capitalism they brought it in. Things that we implemented, I felt, were not real great for people, especially low-income folks. Just really good businesses. I couldn't believe it. For lack of a better word. Maybe that's what response.
John had upped his game as a director by the time we got to the its political significance and resonance is probably more acute today than it was then.
Had to come up with a visual device that showed the audience the hidden reality around it. And so the sunglasses were a perfect metaphor. What's your problem? Jim Danforth would be Batman after work at black and white sunglasses. Perfect for our little
Subliminal messages put in advertising. They never pressed it that far out. Messages of being broadcasted. That's not necessarily an alien concept.
Put these on. Hey, stay away from me. I'm telling you, you don't throw them.
The fight in the was fun to say, rehearsed this for quite a while. Ronnie's a wrestler. Fights for a living, so we had to put a big fight. The guy under the press was cute. Great.
We get this to put on 2 weeks. It's very well done. Very well designed. Fashion after the fight and quiet now. You know, I never felt safer in the fight. We talked more about silent.
Ronnie gave me a notebook. It had the lines that he would give to interview wrestlers.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
All out of bubble. That was remember me. A written down made up for Playboy Buddy Road. So I just used it.
Rod and I became good friends. And over the years, you know, we would see each other and hang out every once in a while.
There's enemy fighting alone. There's a reference to the politics of the time.
I came here to two bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of that.
When I saw the commercial we was little kids. All of us had thought to ourselves, wouldn't it be cool if our toys and playthings came alive?
Or would we be terrible?
You saw it in Poltergeist. It was really looking at the sound coming out from under the bed. It was like the biggest scare in the movie. That moment made me want to be powerful.
I wanted to shut the dark away and sort of reduce shut this real so fine. A cute little doll that says fuck a lie and knifes people. There is something amusing about it.
You can be a little silly little thing about his doll coming along, but anytime you do it constantly, you have to have that moment, almost say, look, Mom, no wires.
Andy, Chucky.
The scariest moment in child's life is finding there are some little boys and the dollars rubbing in the water. We should all think that they're practice and there are no bad rates anymore. Okay, good. But then you get the exercise. The head does a 180-degree turn and looks up at her and he says,
Hi, I'm Chucky.
scares the hell out of her. And then I put her out behind her and gravitate the room and do it. Just to leave.
Chucky's first status
The appeal of the Thor doll too is perfect. I think as long as there are flashlights and the chin sits off, there's no damage to is really the story of Preston as well as being brain surgeon, there's also other considerations with configuration. It's like giving us Julia back to life. She becomes Dr. Challard's kind of pet torch. And Torch to Clive obviously a lot about character. I knew he had been a human being. I developed the idea that he was in the mourning for humanity that he couldn't remember clearly. The opening sequence with Elliot Spencer firing the box and being transformed into Kincaid. At the end of the film, you see the transformation back when Kirsty confronts him with that photograph of Elliot Spencer, and he remembers the humanity that he had lost.
How does it feel? It gave you an insight into the Cenobite that wasn't really there with the first one. Favorite scene from that is when the doctor is being turned into a Cenobite. And then after he comes out of the chamber, he's like, it's so amazing. Like, he went through this hell and he didn't want to, but then it comes out afterwards and he's a Cenobite. And it's like, oh, this is what it's all about.
Shift in the exchange rates shaved a substantial chunk of the budget, and it was decided to go ahead and make this film. And it's a shame. It would have given us that insight into where Clive's notions of this realm, this place where the Cenobites are, and the idea of the fire that was introduced into the screenplay but never really fully explored. Thor is a classic cult movie studio. We're the last one. They're the only ones who've been able to survive. And the reason is our fan. We've got a fan base. They're very devoted and they're very active. And now, of course, with the other actors, that will be family people every month. So when they're interacting. So that's the being the horror film is cheerfully bad. Horror film will support you. The fans, they're the good. They are the most loyal, the most knowledgeable fan base anybody could wish for.
I really like horror families for some of the most self-conscious people because they allow themselves to see and experience the darker aspects of life.
We're all countries, we're all, cultural.
A lot of us share the same sort of sense of not really popular, being a nerd, sometimes nowadays it's sort of cool, back then it was not cool. So we bond over these things. So as we get older, we find these people on social media or mentoring, we have an immediate understanding on over these things.
The opposite down to the feminists are some of the most perfect people that I know.
Somebody will show me a picture and you had a horror film holding an infant. They go, that's me. They're now 25 years old. That person had a horror situation when they were still killing themselves. And now they're standing in front of me with their own kids.
I've had people who have me sign my name, and then a couple hours later they want to talk to me. So they're those are the things.
All walks of life. There is no stereotypical
That's why it's hard to almost describe the other choice. If you can see someone walking down the street with black shirt, or vagina, or jeans, or whatever, and you can also see someone who just doing some business and in a suit and tie, but then they'll pull up their pants or they'll show you the horror top.
I'm not saying that that was like, I read to my first convention in 1975 in Pittsburgh, and it gave me a really sense of being connected with something that I love. I still go to shows and the band and something like that. We celebrated, we loved it, we're passionate about it.
What I love about Thor is this unifying. You can be from any walk of life. You can be straight, you can be gay, you can be white, you can be black. It doesn't matter. Thor knows no race, it knows no sex, it knows no age. Thor is this universal thing that we all come together over.
Great. This is Walter.
I think The Burbs is a very different thing. It is a comedy, but it's dark. And that commercial was dark. It liked Tom's comic at the time. Doing very light, fun, enjoyable roles. And it has a really dark and mean streak to it that I think was embraced by Joe.
Ritual killers.
Burbs is not only a horror film in that it's about big murders, but I was a bit, I do have creepy. I do look up stuff and all what's going on in there. It's a movie about the way these people get their time basically do it. It's a really exciting to some excitement from something. The original script, it wasn't explained what the Topaz were up to. The audience had to imagine it, so all of these clues, the lights and people doing and all that. We just really lively on this one. But then when Tom Hanks was this video thing, he got out and said, well, we're going to finish it about it. Then we got three of them. One of us is on the way to this, and one of which got this toilet. They open up the front and invite you. So other than other of us were really full of shoes. That was just the top of the dress, and none of which were. They ended up being skulls with the chocolate.
Night of the Beginning was covered everyone's tour with it. A lot of people don't know. Especially because it's such a performing idea for a film. But back then, in 1976, and like Black and all that, like they were big. Whole numbers were you would call 976 people and you had a line together. You murder this person and I will make you popular. You had this some kid who was a social outcast and kind of nerdy. He was giving the devil what he wants and he was turning into a demon. His friend was trying to stop him. It's actually kind of a sad, really like neat movie. Well, not as well known as it should be, especially for something with Robert England. Because at the time, he was huge with favorite part of that. He's at his house. He was killed caretaker. His friend and teacher are coming to the house to try to either stop him or save him. It opens up to hell, and the whole house freezes because hell freezes. So it was kind of a fun little thing that Robert
Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery was directed by Mary Lambert, one of the lead female directors for that time. And it was crap on me when I was I literally slept with the lights on for like 18 months. It's based on a novel by Stephen King, and he has evolved in some aspects of his life. Probably not the cat coming back. But I know that they live on a country road, and his son actually went out the street and he had to save them. And they don't stop. Gabe getting run over is just still to this day the most traumatizing thing ever. Like just tears every time you see that little foot in the shoe. Oh boy. And it's so sweet.
Pet Cemetery is one of those interesting comics because it touches on a lot of different fears. You have your neighborhood into the fear of death and the fear of love helplessness. Your neighbor also confronts, these things that a lot of us don't really talk about, these deep family secrets. Of course, Zelda, who terrified a whole generation of horror.
The best thing about this movie for me is Brett Wynn and his main accent.
That's bad.
Why are you taking all these bodies up to the pet cemetery, Fred? Why are you doing that?
My little Michael jumps out of the attic every little time. That was a great scene. I mean, there's some really great scenes. He's the one who basically does most of the damage, this tiny little adorable child. When Gilman could basically inject Gage with the drugs to essentially kill him at the end, I love when he's walking down the hallway and Gage looks at him and goes, "No fair." You don't hear Freddy Krueger when he's getting, killed saying, "No fair." It was towards the end of the 80s where you're starting to see a little bit of a shift in the genre, and there was a little bit more of a heaviness. I think Pet Cemetery perfectly reflects that.
Friday the 13th Part 8 is a 16 now. I was so excited for it to finally capture the race to go to Big Apple, New York, except he stuck a little bit out. And then when he got to New York, it was the man who
Exactly like cute.
Film Kelly Boo in the disco will make me look so much better because it's a very low seal so that we came up with the idea of picking up helping her against the suit. Very creative. We were so game to do whatever we needed to do to make it look good because that couldn't have been comfortable. When I throw the stunt girl, you have to hit the ground without breaking your foot. So those sometimes are the hardest stunts to do because you just have to do it however you did it.
They did do one day in New York City in Times Square, and that's the best part of the movie, this wide circle shot with Jason Voorhees in the middle of Times Square.
We have the entire Times Square area right in the middle of where this is. People are watching, and like we do holding people back at the I'll never miss an answer very much because I didn't want to destroy the people watching.
Stepmother 2.
Stepfather is another one of those great discoveries. I went to everybody's reading of it, knowing nothing about it, and I was just so impressed by how well it was written, how well it was pulled off, Terry O'Quinn's performance in the lead. It just surprised me in so many ways.
If you've seen the original film, Joe Rubin arranges the bodies of his movie family in a tableau of blood and body parts and gore and stillness and silence. What I liked about our script and Stepmother 2, the continuation of it, is it had an extraordinary variety of humor, a very black set that stood something out. The scene I like best in the film is when he puts the body of Ned Foster's suitor. He murders him, rolls him up on the road, puts him in the trunk of the car, and then he takes the guy's car to the wrecking to dump it. And he spends his time re-wrecking the car, running into it, so it can be camouflaged and stay unrecognized. When we came to the program, we were going to shoot my death scene. The death scene that was originally scripted and shot shows my character going to light a fire in the fireplace, and Terry O'Quinn shoves her head into the gas jet. And for whatever reason, I don't think it necessarily worked very well. I think they wanted something a little more standard and hanging from your wind chimes in your kitchen. It was the prop man's hands that you see around my throat strangling. And I had to wear a rig, and they hung me up, and there's a cat, and there you go.
There's a cat.
In Beverly Hills, what you fear is only the beginning. Anything for society.
Society is directed by Brian Usna. It looks like it's a 90210 Beverly Hills rich person type of problem situation, but it turns out that this kid's problems are a lot worse than you might expect.
The script was written by 3 people. And so paranoid. It's not just about a secret society. It's about violence. I never could quite call it a horror movie. It's just kind of weird.
Something wrong?
It's a sucker punch movie, of course. It pretends that sometimes it's something else.
This movie's got conspiratorial elements, some incestual things, and a lot of body transformation courtesy of Screaming Mad George. And it all culminates in the shunting. What's the shunting? You kind of just have to see it to understand.
There's so many just images that stick with you. Like, I can see it all in my head. Like, everybody's joining. It's just madness. An orgy of visuals.
The wettest, goofiest movie I've ever seen, because it's just people turning people inside out. It definitely showed you that flesh can be super fluid.
The most fun I ever had on a set was doing the shunting, because I just felt like I was doing what I wanted to do. The kid goes and stab a butthead, because back then in the 80s, butthead was a big term.
Fuck you, butthead.
And we thought, yeah, this guy's a butthead, let's make this guy a butthead.
I guess you're right. I am a bucket.
We have a lot of outtakes that are hilarious. I think everybody's thought that maybe was a butthead.
I didn't really get it out of the carpet. It's now finally getting the recognition that it deserves.
A lot of my friends were actually kind of embarrassed when I showed them Society. I thought
people think horror movies are kind of mindless, but in actuality, they're a way of making statements about things that people really are afraid to talk about. I always think that horror movies are very healthy, because they're a way of taking those fears and exercising, away from your system.
I think the whole reason for repeated viewing of horror movies, particularly 80s horror movies, was that it was very cathartic. They speak to the emotions. There's a variety of emotions, not just the dark emotions of fear and dread.
It's adrenaline. It's a drug. People like that.
The level of artistry is impressive, undeniably. And I think that if you look at the filmmakers today that are working hard to uphold some of the more organic aspects of that work that came out of the 80s, it is definitely homage. And it is definitely growing completely out of boundary pushing and advancements that came out of the 80s that hold up if you go back and watch them.
The great thing about genre directors in the 80s They were thinking, what can we make, not what can we remake. We're in a degenerate era today where all they think about is what can we remake, often titles from the 80s. They were all about the original script. They were all about the original idea. They were all about what hasn't been done before. They were all about what will Hollywood refuse to make. That's what we want to make. There's nobody willing to get down and dirty the way they were in the 80s.
The problem today is everybody's trying to please all the people at all the same time. You get baby food. You can live on baby food, but it's very boring. Roma is the jalapeno pepper on the coast of pizza. And there's an awful lot of people who want jalapeno pepper on their coast of pizza.
I think as I get older, I will subscribe to the same guilty pleasure. Maybe when I was a kid, just to pleasure myself and my taste a little bit more. Now that we have social media and everybody is a film critic, we all have these really hardball tastes. And we should all understand that I'm like chopping mall. I can definitely understand what you would watch. Just love what you love.
It's just, well, I saw it when I was 11, so it's great. Because there's a certain lizard part of your brain that's never going to be able to look critically at that movie that did it for you at a certain age. And we all have that movie. By that same token, the classics are decided upon by the masses, and we've sort of, it's cool to watch these movies that we liked at the time get this quickly see what this sort of silence. There's a real dilemma right now in terms of what I would call the digital divide. Stuff was on VHS and if you take the leap of DVD, then the odds are that much less than Blu-ray. And now the odds are even much less that somebody's going to sell that transfer streaming rights somewhere. And there is stuff that is vanished. It's called history. We talk about how the silent films are how 75 or 80% of the films are all gone. It's not happening to happen. More than we talk about.
Some of them really well as DVDs. That's great. It's not only a history, but just talking about the things. It gives generations the opportunity to transfer information regarding what we think is bad and evil and what good society looks like and bad society looks like. I think that information is crucial. Maybe we have to jump over that movie.
Clint Barton may be a bum, but he's my kind of guy.
Something to do with tornadoes,
Servitors who are quantified in the owners who
Heads up, people. This is... When we're done here, victory party on me.
Welcome to the Raft, Earth's most secure prison. Until now. Here's the secret. You'll need to do 3 things. First, reactivate security. Without it, we're working blind. Second, restore power. Look for a set of generators in the east. Finally, lock down cell block Alpha. There are still Hydra agents and loose inmates, so expect resistance. Thanks. Now we have eyes and ears inside the facility. Good work taking down the big laser. No wonder Fury's still hiding. That should keep the rest of the cells locked up tight. Should have gotten you a serious
Oh, look! It's time to play. Trick or treat! It can only end this way. Check out my toys! You shall threaten Midgard no more.
Doom shall assist you because Doom wills it.
Thank you, all father, for this.
the Raptors is a spectacular.
Rest assured, doom is only here because doom wills it. Perhaps we are natural paradox. This is a gift from Odin. Odin, I thank you. You see the assistance of a superior being. Nay, I cannot do that. What is this bauble I see? Nay, I cannot do that. Thor's power grows mightier still. Rest assured, doom is only here because doom wills it. Be mortal or demon, pray for this. The sun shall take note of this battle. Nay, I cannot do that. Thank you, All Father, for this blessing.
Time to shake this place down. And still run away. How's that feel, huh?
What is this bauble I see? I have proven once again that
we are natural allies after all.
The son of Asgard has no time to dance. Nay, I cannot do that.
Your meddling ends now. Plan for all contingencies, including you.
The sun shall take note of this battle. Thor's power driven.
Just thought I'd mention the fact that you may see a lot of you around here. That's a big part of why we're after the tablet. Something seems to be playing jump rope with the fabric of reality.
Thank you, All-Father, for this blessing.
The surface gleaming forward once again taunts me. How can I make it obey?
Truly, Carol, you remind me of the mighty Valkyries of Asgard. wretched idiot of that accursed quartet boils Doom's blood.
Well met, fellow traveler of the cosmos. How fare thee?
I know that that works. I tested it out before, by the way.
Permit me to salute your courage, Richards. But pity you have not the power to match it. Perhaps we are natural allies after all. seek the assistance of a superior being.
Looks like class is in session. Almost beat Thor.
You seek the assistance of a superior being.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this. Rise! These guns aren't just for show.
You shall sweat in Midgard no more.
It's one thing to hear normals do that, and you can at least be nice about it.
Be it Macropore or Muspelheim, the tablet shall be found.
Maybe you can keep the turbulence down for us. Get ready to horse it.
Doom shall assist you because Doom rules it.
My mind has never been more clear. How does that feel, hero? As they say on... Do not call me Warren, except that I am only Archangel now. No, I cannot do that.
Well, I've just got Doom to 60, you see. I have it at 60 now, I can
Call me
use it.
warrior, except that I am only Archangel now.
May your soul be as sturdy as your suit of armor.